Hello, everyone. This is episode 1 of Chatting with CJ. Introduce us to who CJ is.
I am a mother, a beautiful person, and I have lots of friends.
So what's your name?
My name is Cynthia Jackson.
All right. So it's a short introduction, and you are a beautiful person. You're also my mom, so it's all good. So we want to do a background on why we are starting this podcast. Can you fill us in?
We starting a podcast because this year, 2024, has been a year of tremendous change for me. In May, I'm a pretty healthy person, and I've lived a really good physical and life. And in May of this year, 2024, I was preparing to go to work, and I started feeling bad. And fortunately, my son Jamal was here, and I was gonna go lay down, but then I didn't, and I started feeling worse. So I told him he should call an ambulance, and I actually had an aneurysm.
Absolutely, Mom. So the reason for this podcast is we want to talk about the challenges that you faced from a first person view of the changes of someone who's been beautiful, independent all of their life, who's been a wonderful mother and friend to many. And we want to just instruct people on the changes and just talk about it, chat about it, and give this journey that we're currently on, and possibly give advice to people. So from a first person, just an introduction, a first person perspective, what are some of the changes that you've had to go through?
I was in a hospital for about 4 or 5 months, and I'm learning how to steady my walk again. When I had my aneurysm, I worked at a transitional rehabilitation program at Marion House. I was like the intake coordinator, so my job was to keep the occupancy, the program occupied with women, and the women came from incarceration, substance abuse, homelessness, domestic violence. So when I got sick and I was in the hospital for quite a while, and I wasn't able to do the job. So they hired somebody else to do the job that I was doing. So that really threw me for a loop, because I've been used to working ever since I was like maybe 14 years old. I've been working, and I really did enjoy doing what I was doing, but I couldn't. I was in the hospital, so I couldn't do the job that they had hired me to do. So I lost the job, and it was a life-altering experience for me. I just couldn't have written this play, and it affected me in so many ways, because I had sick time. I used my sick time up, I used my vacation time up, and then I was out of time. So I wasn't able to be paid if I didn't have the sick time. So life took on a different style. Plus, I was in the hospital. I left the hospital. I went to a rehabilitation program, and so I was in the hospital from May up until the beginning of September. So it was.
So you were in the hospital so you were first admitted you went to the emergency room at Mercy, and then they transferred you to the ICU, neurology department at University of Maryland, and you were in the ICU for a couple weeks. They did a procedure to get that, the bleeding, just get that remedy done to you, and they did a spectacular job. And from there you went to Kernan, which was a step-down facility for rehabilitation. You spent about 2 weeks there, but then you started to decline and experienced some pressure on the brain, and they readmitted you back to the ICU to have a procedure done at University of Maryland. And then University of Maryland, they did the procedure and you had a positive outcome. You were then readmitted back to Kernan, where you stayed about, I think, a little less than a month. From that point, you were discharged on July 26th from Kernan, and then you went to a step-down facility, skilled nursing facility, and that was very important. We'll talk about that because we'll talk about a lot from multiple perspectives, and this is the nature of this. But from the skilled nursing facility, you spent a month there, and you never gave up. You kept pursuing. You kept. As I told you, I saw you embrace the suck, and you really took on. I think this section and part of this podcast will help others in a similar position as you, because there's some challenges that we have faced, experienced, and that are facing, but we're going to do it on a united front. And this podcast, I want you to be able to express yourself, to talk about the challenges, talk about how you overcome, give some more of your backstory on what has developed your resilience, and how you will be successful. Because as I tell you, that you're in a kind of a cocoon stage, and you're going to blossom into something very beautiful, and that when one door closes, 5 may open. And we want to relay that message to those out there who may be under similar circumstances, feeling similar nervousness and uneasy of the future, and provide them with a positive reinforcement that this life is a journey, and that you're going to, with family and with your solid core friends, who many I've met, that you're going to be very successful, Mom. So this is the end of part 1, episode 1, and we're going to title this maybe Chatting with CJ.
Okay.
And we're going to have it on YouTube. We're going to share it, and we're going to just try to do it on a weekly basis, because this is an ongoing journey, maybe bi-weekly, maybe more than that.
I just want to say too that we never know what life has for us. And I was perfectly, I believed, healthy on May the 14th in the morning. And in the evening, I was in ICU in the hospital fighting for my life.
Yeah, on a breathing machine.
So I am looking forward to telling my story and talking to others about the challenges that I have faced and that I am facing. But I know that God has my back, because I was almost dead, and now I am alive. I have a second chance, so I'm looking forward to talking to you all again. Thank you.
All right, blessings to you all.